So what's the hardest decision you have had to make to get where you are here?
Do I really want to go through this struggle right now?
Right.
You know, with him? Do we want to be the talk of the town? Because you know, personal life goes into business, and I'm just like, I don't know, but.
Hi, I'm Daisy Jones, all the way from Conversations with Daisy Jones, and I am so excited to be here with Dante and Natalie Habersham of Mr.Shuck's Seafood Restaurant, the iconic On the Travel Advisor. Fortunately, Food Network, it's going to be Food Network soon, and Travel Channel.
Yes.
And we're here in Brunswick, Georgia, and we're just sitting down for a conversation to take a deep dive and learn more about Dante and Natalie. So thank you guys for inviting me to be here with you.
Yes, ma'am.
I remember my first time coming. Okay. My husband and I, because my sister lives in Jacksonville. And so she was telling us about Dante and Mr.Shuck's. Have you been to Mr.Shuck's, right? We were like, no. So we met up here. Revitalization.
Yeah.
So we met up here and we were offered the shuckatizer, the shrimp. Delicious. The wait staff was fantastic. And we were just taken away with your establishment and what you've done right here in Brunswick. And so walking in the door today and seeing what you have done with Mr.Shuck's, and I think this is year 12.
Year
12 years.
Yes, ma'am.
So before we start talking about year 12 and beyond, let's dial back to, I think you were 8 years old and you were sharing about how you had a feeling of empowerment at the tender age of 8. Tell me about that.
So, my mom used to always drop me off to my grandmother's house. And because she was you know, your grandmama always was the caregiver, you know, when your parents was working. And so I can remember just going in the back room, just cutting up newspaper and just cooking. And you know, because I wasn't allowed to run the neighborhood with the other kids, you know, because I was the only child from my mom. And so, you know, that brought me joy. Those moments where I could just cook and pretend cook. And I remember one time it got so intense that I was taking out, I had done cooked for the day, and I was taking out the trash. And I went to, you know, push the trash down, and something cut my thumb almost off. And I remember that. I just remember, you know, my grandma back then, they ain't take it to the emergency room. They do they doctored on me, but all that molded me to today. You know, spending time with my grandfather, him showing me how to cook and showing me how to make barbecue sauce and cooking coon
Your grandpa taught you all that.
Yeah, cooking coon. So I just knew. Some things you just know. And I knew at 8 years old that I was going to be somebody.
So you were an only child.
I have three brothers. And but I was the only child from my mom. So my brothers was older they older. So I was a loner.
Tell me about your childhood beyond pretending to be a cook, chef, business owner as a little 8-year-old boy in your grandma's house.
All right.
What kind of childhood? Were you with your grandparents a lot while your mom were working?
So my mom and my dad didn't get married till I was around 8 or 9 years old. So up until that point, it was just me and my mom. I was a mama's boy. I was either with my mom or I was either with my grandparents. It wasn't nobody else raising me, you know. And so I joined the church early because older people raised me. You know, back then your grandparents, they were strict. So they raised me, so I had those boundaries put that I had to follow, And that's how I was raised.
And you followed it.
I followed it. Yep. The only thing that I struggled with was reading, you know. But far as getting out, having common sense, being respectful to my elders, or just going cutting grass, taking out the trash, going fishing, going to shoot guns with my granddaddy. I had all that.
Wow. Yeah. But you're 34?
38. I'll be 38 in a couple of days.
38 in a couple of days. You're a young man, though.
Yes.
So you're a young man raised by grandparents.
Right.
And so you, a lot was just infused in you, just implanted in you as a young kid. Now, and so I remember when we talked before about being in school and how one teacher came to you and was saying that you should be in a special class.
Right.
Tell me about that journey.
So, I was 9th grade, and I remember like it was yesterday. I was walking out. Back then, they had breezeways in between the wings at the school. And she stopped me. She said, you know, Dante, you are behind, you know. And the best thing for you at this point is to put you in special education. And of course, I'm like, what does that mean? And she said, you just come to school. Basically, what she was saying was you just be here for attendance and you go to home ec and you might go to masonry class, like no academic classes. Yeah. And if you do, you know, we'll be in there to help you. And so she was like, and then at 12 o'clock, we'll let you go.
For the day.
We'll let you go. So, you know, at 13, 14, who wouldn't? Yeah. I mean, you know, that's the easy route.
Was it your choice or your parents? Was your mom involved at all? Your grandparents?
I don't remember. All I remember is us having that conversation and we moved in that direction. It wasn't no conferences. It was just the direction we're going to take.
And you grew up in Brunswick?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So.
Do you see those teachers, any of them now? That particular teacher? Do you see that particular teacher now?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. You know, we talk about teachers and their impact on your lives, positive and negatively. But what's fascinating is that the teacher said what the teacher said. You took the route because you really wanted the easy way. Right. I heard you say that before, right?
Yes,
because you really wanted the easy way out. So in retrospect, what do you think about it, your younger self? What would you tell your younger self?
You know, so going back to that, I remember when I would leave school, I would go to work, Willie's Weenie Wagon. And the owner, Mr. Arnell Chambers, if I can go back, I wish I would have had more conversations with him about business. You know, I think so many times, man, I wish he was still living. I just want to know what situations and how he would handle those situations in business, you know. I've learned over the 12 years, there is not a lot of men that look like me that will pour into me from a business standpoint. And him being in the restaurant business, you know, that's a big impact. So I wish I would have had more conversations with Mr. Chambers.
Wow. That importance of having a mentor, having that business wisdom. Yes. Well, you know, quite frankly, the Lord had a divine plan for you. Yes, because here we are 12 years later.
Yes.
So let's fast forward to when you met Natalie. When did you meet Natalie? And how did that change your life? Because you already had your heart on, I'm going to be doing business.
Yes.
But when you met Natalie, and tell me about that.
We originally met in 2006 when I first tried to move down here in Brunswick, and I was here like maybe a month and a half, and I decided to move back home.
Back home to
Pennsylvania. Yep. Okay. And save up money and try to not live with my parents, just come down on my own. So I saved up and came back 2010.
So you're a quiet spirit. You seem to be a quiet spirit. And
I'm quiet.
Don't get her wound up.
Right.
Oh, so you're a controlled spirit. You know how to control your spirit.
Yeah, she good.
Yeah.
I tried to.
So when you guys met, well, where did you meet? When did he catch your eye? When did she catch your eye?
So I'll tell my part. So I kind of did a nonchalant prayer, like, Lord, send me somebody. I was probably a couple of weeks in selling crabs. And, sometimes in life you just reach a frustrated point in your life and you cry out for something better. And a week later, the phone rang. And like she said, we had met 4 years prior. And when we met, we didn't really, she didn't catch my eye. I know I didn't catch her eye. We kind of casually went to dinner together as a family.
Okay.
And,
it was after church.
Yeah,
After church. Okay.
And so 4 years later, I get this phone call. A week after I say that prayer.
4 years later.
4 years later. And her stepmom's like, hey, I got somebody I want you to meet.
Really?
So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, is it this little red bone that I remember?
Yeah.
I just remember her face. And so we exchanged numbers. She sent me her number. And we talked that night. And it was just like nonstop.
Wow.
And,
So you were okay with, tell me your side of the story.
Well, I wasn't okay with
Tell
the
me your
whole
side of the story.
let me introduce you, because I was actually moving down here to restart my life. I had 3 kids. I was in a bad situation before I came, so I just wanted a fresh start. And like you said, it wasn't even weeks that I was down here, and she was already, I'm like, please don't try to make me match up with nobody. I ain't even looking for no man. I don't want no friend. I don't want nothing. I just want to get settled in, start work, get my kids situated. But, we exchanged numbers. We talked for hours. I think he fell asleep.
For hours?
Yeah, he falls asleep quick.
But
then he was working on the island. I think he was a server on the island at that time, plus throwing crabs. And through our conversation, he was like, hey, come get you some crabs. Now, I knew about blue crabs, but I'm a snow crab person. In the north, we have them, like Virginia, Baltimore, we have the seafood, but it's not like down here. Down here, it's like an everyday, all-day thing. So, me and my kids went to, I think you're at Holy Band.
Holy Band.
Yep.
Holy Band, the church.
Okay.
They let us see.
So, that's where he was cooking at the time. I got my little crab tray, went home. And I was like, what am I supposed to do with all this? Like breaking it up and trying to...
It was blue crab?
Yes, blue crabs.
Okay.
So I broke it up, let my kids eat it, because it was just too much work. But after that, we just became friends. I was like, I want to learn how to cook crabs. So I used to hang out with him. He cooked crabs. Eventually moved from the Holy Band, and then he started selling crabs out of my apartment.
Yeah.
And his clientele grew so much. And I was like, really like writing everybody's name and number down. I'm like, don't you realize you have over 300 customers?
Regular customers.
That are just coming up to the house. I said, they're going to think that we're selling dope. We cannot have this. It's time for you to find another place.
Wow. What if you had a word back then, if you had a word to describe Dante back then?
It's probably the same now.
What's that word?
He's just over the top. Spontaneously, like he's just that person that just everybody clings to. He just has that outgoing personality that everybody falls in love with him as soon as they talk to him. Like literally. Like people they want that conversation. They want to know more. It's just, he just brings people around him.
Wow. So that's the one thing that said, man, I love this man. What was that?
One thing that...
This man right here, I'm going to say yes to this man.
Well, for me, we started going to the same church. And we were going through a fast. And we used to come over and watch like Benny Hinn, and the kids would reenact all of that. They would reenact like they were in church, and we just have a good time laughing and joking. But we started watching Sid Roth, and on Sid Roth's show, the Sid Roth was like, you know, one of the persons that he was interviewing said he asked the Lord who his wife was going to be. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's the point I'm at. I don't want no little boyfriend. I don't want to play no games. I'm done with that. I want a husband. So I'm like, I'm going to test that out. And I tested it out, and lo and behold, it was Dante's face that I seen when I asked the Lord that. So I was like, hold on, Lord, I'm gonna let this simmer. Maybe it's just because I just met him. He just popping up. You know, I had to let the flesh go for a minute and see if that was really what God was telling me, and it really was.
Wow. Man.
He's still here.
Yes, it was God.
It was God.
It was God.
How many years now have you guys been married?
We've been together for 12.
12 years.
12.
We've been married for
7. Yeah, 7. Yeah, because it'll be 8 this year.
Yeah, we got married.
See, that's
after
how
Was that a test, Natalie? Was that a test?
Probably.
That's how I keep
think
up.
about it.
We a couple of months behind my daughter.
Okay. Wow.
So that's how I keep up with it.
Wow. So I remember you were sharing, Dante, that in 2010 you bought your first bushel of crabs.
Oh yeah. So I really didn't know about the crab business. All I remember was going catching crabs on the bridge. Mm-hmm. You know, really wasn't a blue crab either because the memories are just, you know, you be out on the bridge in the heat.
Yes.
And you come home, you ain't done that.
That's true.
Your aunties be waiting because, you know, they know we was going to bring a catch that day. So they over there got the pot ready and they eating. And I'm just doing whatever. So I do remember, you know, as a little boy, them having the crab balls, you know, dumping all the crabs on the table, making the butter. You put a stick of butter, melt it down, and a little garlic seasoning, a little salt and pepper. So I remember all that.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this out. Mm-hmm. So I got a bushel of crabs, and I went to the guy and said, I'm going to try some garlic crabs. And I just gave them out. This Father's Day weekend, that Friday, I just started giving them out to the hairdresser because I knew if you get the women, you know, they gonna spread the word. Yeah. And that's what happened.
So your intention was your aunties are eating up all the products. So let's see if we can sell the product. Am I right? Am I hearing you right?
Yes, they eating, they enjoying it, but you know that for me was fun. Mm-hmm. You know, because I grew up with family, and so, you know, at that time in my life, that brought me fulfillment. And then, you know, I probably gave away back then more than what I made.
Yeah, you gave Natalie a whole tray.
Yeah.
You probably gave her a few extras because...
Right. I gave her some, and then I didn't hear nothing about it once I gave her the crabs. And then later on, she confessed that she didn't even know how to eat them.
Oh.
We didn't eat them properly in the North. Like, we had those little wooden, like, little hammers.
Yeah, all
so
of that.
So he got to teach me how to open the crab up properly and, you know, break it up and actually get the full meat out of it.
Yeah. What did the kids say, though? Because the kids that did eat the
My daughter fell in love with them. My oldest daughter. She
still
loves
them.
Yeah,
yes. And she just kept going from 6 to 12. Then he introduced her to oysters in the shell, and I'm like, she's in love with all of it.
We've got to talk about oysters before we end this conversation, but I want to stay on track about the garlic crabs. I'm from Florida. We didn't do garlic crabs when I was growing up, right? Mm-hmm. But so you started with garlic crabs?
Yeah, so it started with just crabs only. And then once I kind of plateaued out, you know, because back then, what smartphones? So it was still word of mouth. We had picture text. I don't know. You may be too young to know.
I love my nephew.
So, we had picture text. So what I would do is I would take a picture, and back then the phones would let you text 10 people at one time.
Okay.
And so I would put crabs ready at 6 o'clock or 4 o'clock, and then people would eventually start forwarding it to other people. Mm-hmm. So after that kind of wore out, then I started adding sausage, corn, potato, and egg. And then from there, I went to sausage, corn, potato, egg, and shrimp. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know about food costs. I didn't know about measurements.
Yes.
I just, back then you buy something for $2 and you try to make $4.
Right.
And so that's what I did. And within 8 months, I had a menu. It was called Dante's Garlic Crabs. And it consisted of blue crab, and I had the blue crab feast, and then I had the ultimate feast, was everything. And so that's how I kind of started. And then once we moved to the building, we had partners that had more knowledge in shrimp dinner and fish dinner. So they kind of brung that, and I brung my flavor, and that's how we started.
I love this. And I started thinking about business model. And I wondered, did you already have in your mind what your business model was going to be back in 2010? Or do you have dreams about it? Have you kept a journal about it? How have you learned how to navigate every step? And I know Natalie said at the point we've got 300 customers, we got to do something. How have you navigated to say, I'm going to make this step, that one, I'm going to expand in 2022? How have you gotten here?
So, have you ever seen Harriet Tubman?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yes, not in person, but yes.
The movie.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So you remember when she would fall out and have those?
Yes.
So, so that you could understand what happened. I didn't have those fallout moments, but I would have those moments where I could see it. Now, sometimes over the years, it got polluted, and I operated out of Dante way. But to answer your question, I would have those moments. And I when we watched the movie, I was like, dang, I wish the Lord would work with me like that. But he has, just in a different form. And so
I love that.
Yeah. So I would have those, if you want to say deja vu moments, that the Lord would just give me a flash of it. And sometimes it was premature. I don't want people to think that he would show me and I would weigh it out until it was the right time. I would jump in. Like if she come and give me an idea, next day I'm trying to figure out the money.
You didn't get
no
everything or
don't
really
think about
research
nothing.
anything. Just jump right in.
Just do it.
Just do it. And it cost me a lot. It did. But I feel like through the years, God knew the end.
Absolutely.
And so he knew how to keep me pruned. He knew how to prune and take away and add to me to get my attention. And so that's what. So he's still pruning.
Yeah, he's still pruning us.
He's still pruning.
So we're going to take a break right here, and we're going to come back. When we do come back, we've got to go a little deeper into who Dante and Natalie are.
Yeah.
All right, is that okay?
That's it.
All right, we'll be right back. Right here at the iconic Mr.Shuck's restaurant in Brunswick, Georgia. You've got to get here if you've not been here. It's hooked at first bite. I love how they say that. So I want you to follow their channel, Mr.Shuck's TV, and then head on over to Conversations with Daisy Jones and follow my channel. We'll talk next time. So what's the hardest decision you have had to make to get where you are here?
First thing that comes to mind is just to keep going and not giving up, not losing faith. Do I really want to go through this struggle right now?
Right.
With him. Do we want to be the talk of the town because personal life goes into business, and I'm just like, I don't know. But the real struggle is to keep your faith and keep going, because this is from the Lord.
Yes.
Like, you can't just give up on the Lord. He ain't gonna give up on us.
That's right.
So I think that's mine anyway. I don't know about yours.
So my hardest decision has been letting go of myself and my will. Because, we have opened probably 4 of these models, and all of them have failed. And I can remember probably 4 years ago, we had one in Kingsland, and it was a money hole from day one. And 2 months in, it had started pulling from this business. We was taking inventory. We was taking the payroll money from here to make payroll up there. So I can remember calling her and saying, hey, look, 2 months in now on what should have been working, you know. And the stress level of her, you know, because she was running that one and I was running this one. And me calling her and saying, hey, we're going to have to shut this thing down.
What were some of the mistakes going in that you now realize?
I feel the Kingsland vision was one of his premature visions that I'm going to say we, because I was in tune with it. I was like, okay, this is what you want to do. I'm going to support and we're going to roll with this. The ideas were there. It's still probably a great location. Like I said, it's just premature. And the smartest thing that we could have did is get out of it in 2 months. Because if we would have stayed a year, we'd have been
out of business.
All the way.
This one would have been
failed too.
Yes.
And that took bravery. That took
humility.
admitting that we pulled the trigger too quickly. Yeah. So you've learned a lot from operating business. 12 years is a long time. When I walk in before the revitalization, I thought, yeah, nice, good food, excellent food. We sat outside a few times. But walking in today, and I actually saw the launch, and I thought, this is incredible. Now tell me about, I know people can't see the plaque on the wall that says casting our vision. Tell me about that.
So, what year we went to PA? When I went, that was probably 5 years. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, maybe. So we went to Pennsylvania for Christmas. We took a week. I had a dream, and the dream was like a capital, and around it was other establishments, but the capital funded all the other ones. And so the payback, this was all in the dream, the payback was the other buildings funded the capital, you know, when the money went out, the payback came back in with interest. So I drew it out. And I was like, oh man, like I even came and told the staff. You remember that?
I do. Now just saying it. Like,
yeah. And I was like, so this is the capital. So we're going to fund these other shucks. And then how we going to keep the money going back out and in is this building is going to pay the capital back with interest. So this is the bank right here. And so I told them that. And so it kind of faded, you know. So in 2021, I have a mentor now, which is we are business partners. He called me. He said, son, he said, the Lord gave me a vision. And it was the same vision. The same one. And so I was like, wow. So, yeah. So that's how it all got. So that's how that plaque, that vision board came about.
Wow. I love the way you look at each other. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Because you're like communicating without words when you're like zeroing in.
Yeah. So her eyes tell me to shut up.
Oh my God.
No, seriously.
I understand
I'm talking too much.
I understand it. It's necessary.
Yeah.
It's necessary. Yep. That's what that teamwork is all about.
Yes.
Having somebody who's got your back and covering you, right? Yeah.
So when my mentor and my spiritual father, he called me, and we was talking about that vision, and the power just shot through the phone. Like I could feel it. It came through the phone like electricity, all the way down to my feet. And he said, like you could tell it was the Lord speaking.
I know what you mean.
His voice went down and it went low. And he said that it shall be 5. And he said after the 5th one, he said that will start the mark of the franchise. And he said, son, this will be a multi-million-dollar business.
I'd love to meet him one day. It's good to be in partnership and collaboration with people of faith.
Oh, yeah.
And people who believe God.
Mm-hmm.
People who have power.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you're operating in that partnership, there is no barrier, there is no impossibility.
Right.
I love that. It makes me think about when you first, I think your first building, and you asked the real estate agent, are you a believer?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about that again. Refresh my mind on that.
So I called her because, when you got a vision.
But it's not this building. It was the first one. What's this building?
Yeah, it was over there.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I first reached out to her and we started planning to open up, which was Shuck Seafood and Market at the time, fear gripped me. And the fear of failure, the fear of not knowing, the fear of just falling flat. And so in the process, I pulled back. I called her even after we had started the negotiating. I said, let's not do it. Because, doubt. And so when I finally mustered back up enough, because she saw me in Walmart and she was like, I think you should do it, Dante. So when we started the process over, I asked her that question. I say, because I need somebody that can believe with me on this, not just tell me, but that can send a prayer up, for this dream.
How old were you then?
I was 26. 26.
That's huge.
Yeah, 26 years old. And I just, when you go to church and you just hear of other people's stories, and you just don't want to fail. You just don't. Like, I just did not want to start this and be shut down. And so,
how much confidence did you have in it at the time, Natalie?
I mean, I pushed them.
Yeah.
Because, if you're already in my apartment, I don't really want this many people in and out my house.
You said, let's do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've stood behind them ever since. No matter what we were going through, God's vision was going to come.
And, relationships, since, sometimes we go through things.
Oh, yeah.
We went
And
through
if you're working together to build something, I can only imagine some of the frustration, because you're here, then you go home and you take it home, you talk about it. I don't know if you talk about it over breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
And brunch.
You wake up in the middle
all
of the
day.
night
It's
talking,
nonstop.
right?
Yeah.
So how do you put a boundary to make certain that it doesn't erode your relationship and intimacy?
To be honest.
Be honest.
We still working on it after 12 years. Well,
Yeah.
I'm working on it. I can be like, I ain't talking about work. I ain't doing this. I slip up here and there, but you slip
wanna
up
talk
because
about
he wants to talk about it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give you.
Yeah.
Like our vacation, we went to Miami.
Yeah.
I said, I know, and the reconstruction was going on, so I already had it in my head. I know people are gonna call him, so I had to set a time limit. I'm saying, look, I'm gonna give you your morning.
Yeah, that's important.
Whether you worship, whether you talk on the phone, whether you handle business. But when we hit that beach and I'm laying in the sun, I don't want to hear nothing in my ear about, oh, we got to do this. Nat, I want to enjoy my son.
Because how important is that to you?
It's very
And for your
important.
relationship, you feel like?
It's time, it rests your mind. It eases your mind to actually look at the human being that you're with and not just boss mode all the time.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Ooh, I'm weak in that area. I just now, honestly, since we've been honest today,
Should be honest all the time.
I'm just now learning how to be a husband. Because for 12 years, I was in fight mode, not knowing if we're going to make it, or the IRS coming in, or trying to make payroll. I remember the times where I would write a check to her to take it to Walmart to go cash it, just to pay the people. And so I was still in that mode, or, you know, to be honest, we in 12 years, we probably consistently only been away from the business like in a 5-day span 2 times in 12 years.
In 12 years.
So I'm always battling, worrying, you know, is somebody gonna come and complain? They gonna send out the wrong food. You know, who gonna pay for it? So that's what's going on in my mind 24/7. And so, you know, I'm learning how to turn that off. Probably yesterday.
Oh my! Yesterday, yeah. I know you've built a team. You guys have built a team here.
Yes.
And I've watched some of your videos previously of the team functioning. And when you come on social media, we got crabs at 12 o'clock. We have crabs at 6 p.m. And sometimes you have your team integrating with you and all in the kitchen. How important has it been to build a solid team for you? And what were some of the things that you did to build a good team?
Ooh, we still building, but I'm gonna be honest. Like, I have this prayer, Lord, take everybody away that's not for me. And not only that, you know, to be perfectly honest, like, I probably ran some of the good team members away in my darkness.
That's good leadership to be able to admit that, because every leader has blown it at one time or the other. It's the truth.
Yeah. So we over the years, we had some people that probably were sent to take the vision to the next level. And because I would go back or fall back, it brought frustration on them. And so now we have a core team that has been with us 5+ years, that have entrusted us, and we have entrusted them. So the best is still yet to come.
Yeah. I saw you had a team member with the Mr.Shuck tattoo on the arm, and that was striking to me, because I thought about that's someone who has bought in. It's a family atmosphere. It's teamwork. So that was striking to me.
Quick testimony of him. You know, he was about to kill himself, and because he was frustrated with life, his wife had left him. His kids was torn, and it was just a lot. And so, in that process, he came and filled out an application here. And he was like, oh, they not going to call, you know. And we called. And we offered him a dishwasher position. And so doing that, he came, we hired him. And he's been here and been invested. And he tell everybody we saved his life.
Wow.
And so with that was him letting the world know how appreciative he was.
That is amazing. And so with that said, what is the environment that you both work to create here at Mr.Shuck, you know, for your team and for your diners?
Well, for the diners, it's a lot easier. Because they don't have to see our personal that comes out here is the positive, the happy smiles, you know, the getting along.
The kitchen.
Now, if you go into our kitchen, they have experienced, you know,
different things, right?
Yes.
Our
the
clashes,
different things,
you know.
I saw a movie
our
like that.
disagreements.
I saw a movie like that. And how do you really navigate that, wherein you deal with that disagreement, that contention, and then you settle it by one saying, I agree or I disagree, let's agree to disagree. How do you deal with that?
Multiple times I probably just walked away.
Quit.
You quit.
Walked away,
I quit.
quit.
That was years ago. Now I have learned, you really just got to separate.
Yes.
Because you don't want all the attention on your employees.
Right.
Because you can see it in their face. They change up. It may make them, forget what they're doing.
Yes.
So,
Feel uncomfortable.
We've had
That's
that
true.
pretty recently.
Yes.
And I just like, I'm just going to go.
Okay. So
And
you
I'll
go
see
in the
y'all
office
tomorrow.
and take it in the office.
No, I'm going to leave for the rest of the day.
All the week.
There's times, and you just have to do that for the safety of not just us, but our employees,
Yeah.
because in the past, we would just hash it out right then and there. And
Oh, goodness. You've learned
the first
over the
three,
years.
the first 4 years probably,
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
it was just hashing out there. And a lot of our ones that are still there from the past, they're still working for us. We laugh at it now. They're like, okay, and they can see the growth in us. We're still growing, but
I think you have, I think Rochelle's been here. Is it Rochelle? Somebody's been here the entire time.
Sini has been here. Who else has been here?
Veronica, Holly.
T and Veronica Holly has been here.
That's good.
Yeah.
That they're still here 12 years later.
Yeah.
Through thick and thin.
They're probably 10 and more years, 10 years or less,
I saw the launch video and how I think the employees came in first. The team came in first.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw some people wiping their eyes.
Oh, yeah.
How did that make you feel?
Well, I didn't see that moment.
It was good.
Yeah.
Because when people see your growth, and really half the time we don't really see it.
Yeah.
Like usually they're telling us like, dang, or like, customers or people like you, they just come to us like, dang, but it's just everyday life to us. So it's good to see how they really feel like it touches them. Like they really care. So.
Yeah. So the vision for the renovation, while I was watching it, I thought I was watching a restaurant flip or something.
It definitely was.
The vision came from where? Whose vision?
So originally we was just supposed to do the kitchen. And, a competitor opened up down the street.
Oh.
And everybody was like, oh, shucks, count their days, just going through all that on social media, reading how everybody really feels, I wondered if they gonna take Shucks out. So I called up decorator Coretta and I was like, look, and I didn't even talk to nobody about it. Because I know how she is,
How are you?
she wasn't gonna approve spending that extra money.
Okay. Right. Okay.
And her motto is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And nobody was complaining.
Okay.
But so I called a decorator on a Sunday, and she was looking at it on cameras like, yeah, I see you up there talking to the decorators. What you planning now? So I kind of just kept it under the rugs, and then I told everybody at the meeting, like right before closing, like, we're going to do the dining room too.
Yes.
And so that's how that.
And it turned out great.
It turned out great.
Yeah.
And watching the launch, the footage, it's like, wow, is this New York? Is this Atlanta?
Right.
Where is this? I love it. The lighting, everything. I wasn't here, of course, but you can just feel the vibe. Just from the footage and people enjoying the new vibe. I know that's going to bring in more and more people. I'm sure.
Oh yeah. It is. Wait lines being out the door, so it's very exciting.
Yeah. You had lines out the door during COVID. We came up here one time. The line was too long.
Yeah. That was a miracle.
Wow.
That was a miracle. The Lord really took us to the next level during COVID.
People did not stop eating.
They did not.
Crabs. In fact, maybe
it actually increased.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, and we gained a lot of traction during COVID because it was very little. It was very little options in town.
The food options for dining and such.
Yeah. A lot of people shut down.
Okay. Now I want to know about The oysters. The different preparation, because I've seen different photos about the oysters. I love oysters. And I know there's no R in this month, but it doesn't matter. Tell me about some of the ways you prepare the oysters.
So, of course, you know, the old-fashioned way, steaming them or raw. And then, you know, just taking them to the next level. So we do half shells now where we steam them lightly and we put Old Bay on top, and then we melt cheese and bacon and a shot of shuck sauce.
Okay, that's okay. All right. We shouldn't talk about that anymore. Oh, my God.
Yes.
Wow. I had the fried boiled egg one time.
Oh, yeah. That was her creation.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
They are delicious.
Thank you.
How'd you come up with that idea?
Well, we had a location on 4th Street, and that's when another new location came in, and we were slow. And I'm like talking to a coworker, and I'm just like, man, y'all fry everything down here in the South, and we're just discussing different stuff that you want: fried pickles, fried Oreos, fried everything. And I was like, let's do this egg.
I love it.
So we fried the egg, and then we decided to put the buffalo sauce on it. And that was it. And then we tried it. We brought it back to this location and just telling people to try it, tasters, and it was a hit.
Yeah, it's a big hit. It's a big hit.
Yeah.
So I know you're not going to tell us how you put your garlic sauce together, right? You're not going to tell us that. Okay. But everybody loves it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about putting it in packaging it so we can take it home?
Right.
Well, we do it in house, but on a large
mass level manufacturing
so
level.
we had a prophecy 2 years ago that it would go around the world, and so we in the time of that prophecy, but it will happen.
Okay.
We will find the right manufacturer, and it will be sold around the world.
So tell me your dream. Where do you see Mr. Shucks a year from now?
With not me in it. Listen.
You mean in the kitchen?
No, not even being here.
Okay.
If I could just get to that point with just this one, that's my dream. Just to get to the location that we have now with just me being able to manage it from home. You know, having everybody in place just like any other business, you know, and being able to just come in when I want to, not having to feel obligated to be here. So
you're hands-on. You're a hands-on owner.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like you're the pulse.
Yes.
And you want to always feel the pulse of what's going on. Yeah. I quite frankly, Natalie, what do you think about that? Do you think that's going to happen in 12 months, or he's that guy who keeps his hand on the pulse?
It would be on his mindset, because I feel like with the people that we have, and me working with some of them and just, bouncing his ideas off to me and onto them, that they should have the leadership skills to run Shucks. I mean, they do it when we go out of town. I'm just like, they can do it for a weekend, a busy weekend. They can do it every day, So I have faith and trust in all of them to be able to lead this and grow. So they already know if we can get another location, those people can grow and the people under them can step up too. So I think we could. But it's on his mindset and on what he wants.
Who are some of your favorite restaurateurs?
Ooh, that's a good one. Of course, Mr. Chambers. He was like a staple in my life.
He's the Wiener Wagon?
Yes, Willie's Weenie Wagon. Chef Kenny. When I was at Sea Island, Chef Kenny, Kenny Gilbert, was my chef. And he taught me. The first interview, I never forget it. He sat me down. He said, cooks are like cars. He said, you buy one and maybe a couple of months later you add tint, you add nice wheels, you may put lights on it. And he said, that's how I see my cooks. And he said, I accessorize you after I help you grow, help you keep you relevant. And so that's who I would say is been the two people far as restaurant business. And, you know, Chef Kenny, I got to brag on him. He has done work for Oprah Winfrey, so I admire that.
Definitely.
I admire that.
Do you find yourselves when you go out traveling that you're checking out restaurants and seeing how they do their shrimp or whatever it is and making those kinds of comparisons?
Oh yeah, always. I'm pulling ideas all the time. Yeah.
So Natalie, I know the buffalo egg was your idea. How do you bring an idea to Mr. Shuck?
He's a visionary, so you just, if it's dealing with food, you just got to cook it and let him try it.
Oh, yeah.
Because just giving him words, he's going to be like, okay. And then it'd be weeks later before he remembers what you said, and I'm like, no, I just told you that.
Yeah. You got to have some action behind it.
Yes, you have to have it in front of his face, ready to promote what you bring to the table.
I want to, before I forget, I want to ask about Mom.
Okay.
Because Mom early on said, don't do it. Get a job. You have these 3 children, you need benefits.
Yeah.
So when did she start seeing it differently?
Ooh.
I'm probably going to say within the first year.
Yeah.
The first year?
First year. When she's seen that it's working and there's people coming and, you know, he was being stable.
Yeah. What did she say
It
now?
started the moment of seeing, okay, this may work.
People coming, right? What does she say now?
Did you deposit my check?
Oh, baby, don't forget your mama, baby.
Oh, I love you, mama. Yeah, but yeah. So she has the benefits of, you know, I look at it, you know, just like any other successful person. You take care of mama, you know. Try to at least, you know, as best as possible. But she loves us. I think now like before she retired, she was in the school system, and I think she loves the fact of asking people, "Have you tried Mr. Shuck's?" And them saying, "Yeah, I tried it," and then her saying, "You know, that's my son's." Yeah, you know, so, and I think for all my family, that's major, you know, being able to say that they know Mr. Shucks. I raised that boy, you know.
What about your dad? We haven't talked about him.
Oh, yeah, so.
He's proud.
Yeah.
He's our door greeter.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he sits outside and talk real loud and yell at people and say, "Don't I know you?" Sir, I stay in. I hear people that say, "Sir, I stay out of town. I don't even stay here." Oh, I thought I knew you.
Oh my goodness. What about your parents, Natalie?
All my dad is here. My mom is back home still. So all my family is not here. So my dad is here. He's proud. He works a lot, so he dips in when he can. But he always says that he's proud.
Yes. So do you see the children being interested in the business?
No.
Interested in working here or like taking over?
Taking over, learning the business.
We have 2 that work for us.
Okay.
And of course we have little Wiley. She feels like she runs the show. That may be the one that I feel if she keeps the vibe she has now about Shucks, when she gets older and she still has that same vibe, she would. Like our employees already call her the little boss lady. She likes to hire fire. She works in the dining room. So, but yeah, our 2 older kids, they work. One works in the dining room, one works the cashier and the kitchen. So they're growing in the business.
That has to make you proud too. I guess you're not going to push them or try to say you're taking it. You got to learn how to do it because you're going to take it.
We don't force it. We had a middle child try to work here. You know, every job ain't for everybody. So she tried it out. She liked it. It was her first job.
Yeah.
And it was just, you know, well for her.
Yeah.
Was it because she was taking direction from Mom and Dad are here and
I think the mindset was, this is my daddy place. I could do, you know, all your kids are going to walk through like, yes, this ours. You know what I mean? Dad and mom own this. We're going to walk through here. And they was with us since we were little. 12 years ago, we had to bring them to work with us. They still come to work with us, you know? So awesome. It's just the mindset we probably created that they are kids. They can come in.
The challenges of owning the restaurant together, seeing each other every day, you've got a blended family of 8 children.
8.
And 4. Ocho. And 4 at home. So over the time, these 7 years, what have been some of the major issues associated with a blended family?
Us being on one page. You know, kids know how to play parents. Whether they're in the house or out the house, you know, you're not my mom, you're not my dad type.
You can't tell me what to do thing.
Right.
So how have you kind of, you know, turned the curve of the yours, mine, and ours to get there, to get to ours?
We
still working on that.
Yeah, we're still turning it. I would say I probably was the biggest issue, because I didn't know how to keep others out of the household.
Others as in adults or children? No,
the baby mamas.
Okay.
Like keep their opinions out.
Sure.
You know, let just be our decision.
And parents.
Yeah.
And parents. What was it that made you say, okay, cannot continue this way. I've got to have boundaries for others?
When she packed up.
Okay.
Packed up. Was like, I'm leaving.
Okay.
So,
and you didn't want her to go.
She couldn't. And I remember watching her on the camera, packing up, leaving.
But did you talk to him about this prior to you actually packing up?
Yeah.
I mean, years. We went through our little struggles. You know, when we first got our first house, when I was pregnant with Wiley, after I had her, I discovered that he wasn't as faithful as I thought. So that caused the pullback of, okay, maybe you're not the right one. Maybe you're not the one the Lord showed me. Because why would the Lord give me someone like that just to ruin a family that we tried to create? So we separated. At that point, we separated for probably like 8 or 9 months. It's just like, hey, you know, once I let you leave, you ain't coming back type thing.
So it was 8 months. What was happening when you were separated?
Still trying to work together.
Okay. So you were showing up here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I need to work. I got to have money for my kids. I think I did quit for like 2 weeks. And of course, I always had to call back. And I'm always like, hey, I need, you know, let's just at least work together. We ain't got to be together, but let's work together.
That was so I could keep my eye on them.
Okay.
But, you know, I dated a friend. He was still doing him.
Okay. You were still, what does that mean, still doing him?
He was still in his darkness.
Extramarital affair?
Well, we weren't married yet at that point.
Married.
Yeah, we wasn't married. We was just dating.
We did.
But you had lived together. You were living together.
That was our first home. That was the first time we decided we were going to live together. And, you know, think about, you know, let's get married type thing. But
okay, so I have to put this out here. Because the Lord said he was your husband. But did he say for you guys to go and live together?
No.
Do you think?
No.
I mean,
no. We was backsliding and trying to do the right thing.
Okay.
We knew the right thing.
Right.
But we didn't do the right thing.
I understand.
And so it was just at that point, you know, we wanted to be together. You know, I was still legally married, my first marriage. So we couldn't get married. But I wanted to be with her. But I also wanted my cake and eat it too.
Okay.
You know, that's what she said.
Okay, but sounds like you own up to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually.
So what was the pivotal point to bring you back together? And did you move back in together, or you decided to get married to move forward? Which was it?
At that time, I stayed in a house. He got his own apartment. We just used to have porch nights, which we can actually conversate and I guess build that friendship back up first. Because once somebody betrays you like that, you really don't trust them. You never know what's going to happen when someone does that to you. So we had our porch nights. We still try to continue our porch nights because that's what brings you together on conversation. And what are you going to do? What can you promise me that, if you want me so bad, what are you going to do to keep this, right? Then eventually he brought the ring out, asked me to marry him. And I was like, all right, I'm going to jump this leap of faith because the Lord showed me this is what's supposed to happen. But he was still in his. We did.
Okay. Yeah, we ran off to the courthouse.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we moved back in together in a small apartment with all of us.
All 8?
6 of them.
Okay.
And so we was laying in bed one day and my mom came and she was like, y'all shacking up.
We didn't tell anybody because we wanted to have a little ceremony so people my family could be here. But and we here's the paperwork.
Got the ring.
We're legal.
Yeah.
Over these years, what's your number one lesson just one of? Just give me one of them.
Mine is communication. Because especially when you have been dealing with other people,
communication.
You gotta keep God first.
Yeah.
Because without Him, the darkness is going to arise. The
demons come
things
out.
Just happen. And we've experienced it throughout these last couple years. So this year is probably the first year where we can both say we are living to that moment, keeping God first.
What does that mean, keep God first? We tell our children when they go to college, we say keep God first when they go off to college.
Yeah,
when they go here and there. What does that mean?
Waking up, and for me, is waking up, thanking Him for what I have. Trying to make good decisions. Not even try. If you put Him in it, you're going to make the good decision. But just, if I don't do that in the morning, if I don't give Him His time, even if it's 10 minutes, my day is not right. And you can tell. And just living by those principles, I've learned and still working on it to keeping Him first. Like I say it, but I'm actually practicing that. And I can tell the difference. Everybody's belief ain't the same, but with me, if I don't get that word, your whole mindset changes. And like I said, in 15 minutes, I can get it and I can complete my day. You do fall sometimes, distractions come in and you're like, but the only thing I do play in my car is worship. My kids always like, can we play? And every once in a while I may, but it just be like, nah, click it on back. Can't do it.
What about you, Dante? What does that mean?
For me, it's acknowledging Him in all my ways. Because that's I could worship and then still fall off track. But acknowledging Him, speaking about Him, before a conversation even goes south, just saying His name sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Especially being in the restaurant, like even being in our own, just everybody is different here. Everybody's carrying different things with them. And it's really, if I can be somewhat an encouragement to anybody here, I do try to push that out. Even if they do see another side of me, I can still show them, hey, look, that was my moment, but I'm stirring back into this path. So, and I feel like they see it.
So what's a typical day like here at Mr.Shuck's when you're open? What's a typical day like?
Organized chaos.
Yeah. She usually come before me, and before I can get here, I done got a full page of text of what's wrong, what's out of place. That's normally how my day start. And then I get here, right now we opening at 4. So
4 in the afternoons?
Evening. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So I get here and then she'll leave and go tend to the kids, and then she'll be looking on the cameras, making sure everything is going correctly.
Right.
Anything is out of place, she'll send us all a text or send me a text, critiquing me. Okay. Making sure I stay on point.
So who's the boss? Who's the boss? Which one of you are
He is the president. I'm just his...
The boss, she is.
Okay.
Not
she
really.
Is. Because I'm going to tell you why.
I just hold it together for you.
She's the glue girl.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, she's the glue girl. She keep it together. She corrects me mostly, but it's necessary. It's necessary.
It's necessary. Yeah. So now we have the renovation. So are we making any changes in the operation as we're moving forward that you've noticed that now we've shifted cosmetically, atmospherically, and things like that? What about how we operate?
Yeah,
changes are coming.
Yeah, we just hired a operations manager.
Okay.
So we are hoping that she can help us with the day-to-day stuff.
Okay.
Where we can step back and just be owners. It's 12 years. We feel it's time to just be able to be an owner.
You say that, but within these 12 years, and we talked about this with our pastor, it's just within these 12 years, if you're not keeping God first and you're making the wrong decisions and he's going right and I'm going left, and if I'm trying to go straight and he's still stirring off to the right and not being the head, because he's the head at home and he has to be the head with the business. So anytime the head drifts off, there's nothing else that can happen until he come back lined up.
You gotta have the head lined up. But since you brought that up, though, what about these vacations, though? Because 12 years, 2 vacations.
Yeah.
And how does that impact your relationship if you never go away, if you rarely, not never, if you rarely go away and unplug?
It's tough. That has been a very significant thing on our marriage, not being able to unplug. I mean, it's been hell. I mean, just being honest, but I was always scared. Because I felt like I was going to lose my business if I'm not.
If one mistake is made, he going to feel like he about to lose. The world going to end.
So now we make it a conscious decision to even if it's like we got a friend now that's local that has a house on the beach. So we done hit him up twice in the past couple of weeks. Like, can we just go there and stay? So we're going next weekend.
Essential.
Yes.
It's essential.
Yeah.
Because rest is not the absence of not doing anything. It's actually also relaxing your mind so you're not worrying. It'll make you better.
Oh, yeah.
When you take a break, come back, you're refreshed. It makes you better. Yeah. If you don't take a break, you're dragging a ball around and never resting.
Yeah. That ball it's almost a semi.
It just gets bigger and bigger, right? Yeah. Wow. So I have one question for each of you before we close.
All right.
And thank you for being open like this. This is fascinating, right? So who are you? Who is Natalie Haversham?
Who am I? Of course, you guys already know. A mom, a wife, a sister. I don't really have friends that I can't say I have a best friend back home. He's someone I can call, get advice from. But I don't have anyone here. There's no one here to be like, hey, let's hang out. I need to relax my mind. I need to get stuff off my chest. But I'm just a humble, grateful woman. There's still some strongholds of anger and bitterness from the stuff that we have went through. And I just allow the everyday life to process it. And what I want to say, just to be able to get it all out. And I feel with us being open and honest, and I could just, it don't always come out the right way, but I can express it. I have no filter. Expressing myself, especially to Dante, and how I really feel. But it's good when we can have, our porch nights and be able to actually talk about it instead of me just, that little nagging wife thing that men kind of say that I am.
So how has, I know we were talking earlier about your past struggles, and one of the things that made you relocate from Pennsylvania to Georgia, getting away from a relationship that wasn't healthy, right? And some addictions that you had, and how has that experience in the time you were homeless? How does that make you who you are today? What you went through?
It brings gratitude, just because you can look back at living in a tent. You can look back to having to give up your kids.
How long did you have to give them up?
A year.
A year. Yes. Yeah, I know that had to be really hard.
Yes, it was. But I'm glad I went through it because it's something that pushes you to never do again. Like I would never, if I ever see myself getting back into a place of, like, a mindset of drinking your anger away or not wanting to be here again, that remembrance, I can pull back, like, nah, I ain't going back.
Yeah. And how does the man you love help with that journey?
He's there. He's there. Like I said, the prayers work, but I've been able to open up to him. There's things that he didn't know about me. Even when we were together for 7-8 years, there are still things inside of me that I did not express. Like depression and how I need to be treated. Like, I'm very fragile in certain areas that he's now learning that, okay, now I need to bring it this way instead of just feeling like I'm just being left out. So he's learning. I think we're still learning each other. Even after, infidelities, building up the trust again, building up our friendship. Because when the betrayal happens, you lose that. For me, I felt like it's all gone. We're never going to be able to build nothing that we had up ever again.
But you have.
But we have. Yes. And we're still shucking.
You want to change.
Yes. Yeah, I do. I'm changing. But for me, it was understanding me. I always blamed it on, well, my daddy was this way. My granddaddy was this way. Carrying those generational curses. Always making excuses. But I had to understand me, how I work, what triggers me, what makes me do the things that I do.
So who is Dante Habersham?
Okay, so I like her answer. I'm a son. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a brother. I am a Black American man that has goals, dreams in life, and that I'm going to be somebody. I am going to make history. That's who I am.
You have already made history.
I have, but I always tell, when I do speaks, talk to other people, I always say, there's 365 days in a year. And it's, I think, 52 holidays that's known holidays. And so, there's room for something that Dante Habersham can do to impact a national holiday. Like, that's just where my mind at. I look at Pinky, the owner of Slutty Vegan. I gotta give my props.
Have you been there? Have you guys been up there? I want to go there.
Yeah, I mean, she's making history, and so I want to.
It's a restaurant in Atlanta, right?
Okay. Yeah, and now she's in Athens.
Yes.
So I want to be that person that has a voice. Another person that I admire is Ben Crump. If anyone has a chance to look at his documentary on
Netflix, right?
Oh my gosh, it is so profound. But that's who I am.
I love what you both have said, because walking out who we are divinely designed to be takes courage, faith, and boldness every moment of the day. And so I applaud both of you. Keep digging in.
Yes.
Stay with those porch times. Those are the most valuable times of your life.
Oh, yeah.
Business is fantastic.
Yes.
But the both of you, that's everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I thank you all for inviting me down. I'm so happy to have sat down and talked with you.
Yes.
I've been talking to Dante and Natalie Habersham. I am in the iconic Mr.Shuck's restaurant, a travel destination.
Yes, ma'am.
Right here in Brunswick, Georgia. You've got to get here. Like the YouTube channel. Follow them on social media. I have to say that.
Yes.
Follow them on social media, but make it a destination. Drive to Brunswick and come. It is absolutely delicious.
Yes,
I can't wait till we come back and dine in the renovated restaurant.
For dinner.
Yeah.
We're going to do dinner. Date night.
Date night
at Shucks.
Yes. Date night. I love that.
Yeah, date
night at Shucks.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So thank you guys for having me. I have enjoyed talking to you guys.